Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We will be implementing an order requiring masking indoors, regardless of vaccination, that will go into effect at 11:59 on Saturday, July 17th. Masking indoors must again become a normal practice by all, regardless of vaccination status, so that we can stop the trends and level of transmission we're currently seeing. We expect to keep this order in place until we begin to see improvements in our community transmission of COVID-19, but waiting for us to be at a high community transmission level before making a change would be too late.
Dr. Muntu Davis, L.A. County tells you go indoors, wear a mask. I talked to people in L.A. yesterday, and this is what they said. Blank you, sir. Blank you and that horse you rode in upon. I talked to like 3 or 4 people who live out there, right? And they're just like, not happening. You try. Like, some businesses will comply. Other businesses are like, nah, can't keep track. But they want us to. It's got to stop the spread, Chad. How's it going to stop the spread, right? Because you're still not vaccinated. We now know that mask, unless you have the N95, the mask we told you don't buy, which is the only mask that actually works, unless, of course, you want to wear 40 masks. Normal practice. Listen, we got to make this. We got to normalize wearing a mask. We got to normalize wearing a mask. It's what we must do. The frustration. I want to see how this plays out. And I think this is one of those things where it's like, well, you know, we're seeing cases rise again. We are. We're seeing cases rise again. Why is that? Anybody want to give me a guess? I mean, just throw something out there. Is it because of meteors? It is not because of meteors. Maybe it's because of Shark Week. It's not Shark Week. It's not the variant. Is it because people are not vaccinated? Yeah, that's it. It's a group of people out there that are unvaccinated. They've made a choice. They sat there. They said to self, I feel if I got sick, I could beat this thing. I don't think it's really as bad as they make it out to be. And let's be real, the media panicked because panic porn sells, right? It does. If it bleeds, it leads. Doesn't mean it actually has to bleed, but if it's scurry, then it wins. Oh, Chad, you're very correct in that assumption. So now, back in you go.
Our hope is that with continued vaccination of people, as well as with masking by everyone indoors, which is much easier and universal and makes this a normal practice again.
Not a normal practice. Wearing a mask indoors is not normal. It's something we did. I want to see how this plays out.
Well, I think it's a great idea because a lot of people could say that they're vaccinated and they're probably not vaccinated and they're still wearing no mask. And there's a lot of people getting contaminated. So I'm agreeing with that.
I was honestly feeling really anxious about not wearing them indoors. And you're not completely immune to the virus. Like, even if you're fully vaccinated, the symptoms are just less, so you can still spread it. So I'm actually glad.
All those people that get mad over just being asked to wear masks, like, it's just a mask.
It's just a mask. Just a mask, guys. Just a mask. It's not about that, right? Yes, and look, there are places that still, in states across the country, that still ask you to wear a mask indoors and things of that nature. Here's the thing. Who's not vaccinated? Certain groups of people. We know exactly who they are. For whatever reason, they've chosen not to get vaccinated. Some of it is crazy. Some of it is understandable. Herd immunity is coming, and vaccinations was never going to be the sole reason we were getting to herd immunity within a period of time. You can get, if vaccinations last forever, right? So let's say you get one shot, and that lasts for all time. Over a period of time, a long period of time, you will get to herd immunity through vaccinations. But when something is present and is infectious, knowing full well that not everybody's going to get vaccinated, we will not get to herd immunity through vaccinations alone. Some residents are happy. Others I talk to not thrilled. At the end of the day, this is what we've got. People are heading back in. This thing is far more catchable, as I like to say. And we'll see how this goes. We will. But the people who are vaccinated are like, great. And here's something else. And this is something I've talked to a few doctors about, epidemiologists who are about the vaccination, who believe that, they've taken it very cautious. They understand the seriousness of this, but also look at the politics in some of it and understanding that one of the things they were worried about is when you start to tell people, even who are vaccinated, that you need to do this, this, and this, it puts things in people's minds where they say, you know what? That vaccine must not work. That vaccine must not work. Really? Surgeon General is taking a stand on what? Social media. Why? Misinformation.
Murthy saying that misinformation has sown mistrust and caused people to reject the public health measures that would help stop COVID's spread faster. And we do know that this is a real problem, that myths about the vaccines, for example, have been a factor that unvaccinated people hang on to. And Dr. Murthy is here calling for more accountability from everyone, really, but he specifically called out social media and technology companies to step it up.
No, it's not their fault. What are they going to do? It's people who post it. I think sometimes we act like social media, the companies themselves, are the ones who post all this stuff, and then you sift through it. No, individuals, they go and they get their Photoshop and they do all this kind of stuff and they put it out there in the misinformation, and then they do it and they share it with people they know are going to either they're teetering on the belief of something or they're not quite sure, or they're already in the club, and then they share it with other people and they share it with other people. The misinformation and disinformation and the downright times ignorance is big. It's huge. It's huge. Yesterday, I had somebody send me something. Very nice guy. Says, Chad, why are you so for the vaccines? I said, I just look at data. 99% of people that are being hospitalized and or dying have what? No vaccine. Oh, okay. Well, to me, that's just data. And I don't care if you get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine. The thing is, because I think we should all have choice, right? Like I chose to get it, but I also had it. So I feel like I'm pretty damn protected. Doesn't mean I can't get it. The interesting thing is, it's the people that are like, I'm not going to get the vaccine, and let me tell you why. And they start rolling stuff out. I'm like, that's fine. I got the vaccine, and I got the vaccine because I just thought it was the right thing to do. Plus, my on-air partner on my local show he's a hypochondriac. It really was more about not hearing him bitch anymore. So I go and I get it. People want to tell me why I shouldn't have got it. I don't tell you why you should get it. I'm just saying, get it or don't get it. I don't care. I don't care if you tell me you got it, you didn't get it. But when you start sending me stuff that is easily debunked, and when you debunk it and you send it back to them, what drives me crazy is like, wow, I didn't know that. No, you didn't. You believed the first thing you saw. And you never even challenged it. That's the thing that's scary. You believe the first thing you saw, and you never challenged. Somebody sends me something yesterday. Pfizer's got a warning on their website that you're going to become magnetic. Like, okay. Really? Within 5 seconds, you can go and like debunk any of that stuff. You can go to. It's crazy. It is so crazy. I just the frustration level of the fact that people won't do a little research. They won't take a little step back and say, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I won't say for certain it's not true, but I'm not saying for certain it is true. I'd like to do some research. 25, 30 years ago, that was tough. You had to go somewhere. Ask somebody, hey, where's this section of stuff? get a newspaper. It's different now. But people will see the first thing because they already have an unconscious bias and at times conscious bias that they believe a certain thing and they run to it. And then they want to explain. They don't even want to explain it to you. They just want to pass on the information. And this is why I'm not getting it. And I'm like, that's not true. And this person's like, it's not true? I'm like, no. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. But you believed it? Yeah. Okay. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Do the research. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Hope all is well with you on this beautiful Friday. Raycon, best earbuds around. 45-day happiness guarantee, of which you will be very, very happy. And take that test drive for 45-day with earbuds, with 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, better sound quality, a better fit than any other earbuds out there because they are built not for just this ear or that ear, but for every ear. They give you options with certain gel tips to make sure that when you put them on, you find the one that fits you perfectly. That's one of the huge things that separates them. Price point that is amazing, incredible, starts well under $100. And the case that it comes in is awesome because you charge up the case, and the case itself will give you 36 hours of charging time. Means you don't have to have it plugged into a wall somewhere. Wherever you go, you take it with you, you put them back in, they're charging right there. Get your Raycons now. Save big, an extra 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Don't make me wear your mask. Are you trying to kill me? What happens if you have corona?
No need to socially distance while listening to your Chad Benson Show podcast. 4 out of 5 experts say so.
I'm a scientist. There is no corona.
But hurry before they change their mind. You know they will. Chad's podcast found on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite COVID-free podcasts.
Oh my gosh. I kind of like it, I'm not gonna lie.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Dr. Nora Volkow, she's a psychiatrist, and she's the head of the National Institute of Drug Abuse, and she said that the overdose deaths, 93,000, the most in this century, by the way, were caused by what she's calling isolation. But our word for isolation is lockdowns, where people don't have access to their loved ones, where people don't have access to any structure, or they don't have any happiness, where they're locked down. They don't have any treatment. They can't get any treatment. They can't even get Narcan, which is the emergency drug that you use for opioids if you're about to stop breathing.
Yeah, Dr. Mark Siegel there talking about 93,000 overdoses last year. And a majority of those, let's be honest with ourselves, the insanity of the lockdowns at times last year. Understanding we need to be cautious. We didn't know what was coming. We didn't know what it was about. Here's this coronavirus that lands on our show, comes from China. Wuhan is the Wuhan virus. Chad, you can't say that. You know you can't say that. And it gets here, right? So that you've got this COVID-19. And we go from being a social being to isolated. A social being. People that we're used to interaction. That's who we are. We run in packs, minus a very few amount of people. And then you're kind of cut off. I haven't seen my family in 18 months. And some of that over the last couple months has been scheduling. Last year, the only good thing that came out of it when it came to my son was the fact that him being able to do school from home allowed him to come spend time out here with me during what would be a normal school year. That's not going to happen this year. So I'll travel out there a little bit more to San Diego, but I haven't seen my family in a long time. I have a niece that turned 1 last weekend. I have never met her. Again, some of it was conflict, but when I wanted to go out there and see them last year, it was like I couldn't get a hotel. Certain places they just weren't, no, sorry, if you're not here for certain business or this, that, and the other. and it was frustrating as hell. So I could see how people can spiral out of control. And when there's nobody around to see what's going on, and there's no one around to see. And I think many of us, we probably have, maybe it's you, or maybe it's somebody you know, who've changed a little bit over the last year and a half. There's been subtle changes that you're like, over these subtle changes, you haven't noticed them. If you were there, you wouldn't really notice them. But the subtle change here, subtle change there, you put 7 or 8 of those little subtle changes together, and you're like, oh, wow, whoa. Yeah, I've had a couple friends. We were talking about a friend earlier today who's kind of gotten, got a little isolated, got a little into guns and stuff like that. That just didn't seem like the normal thing for him, and it just it was an odd thing. So, yeah, to say that last year's lockdown / isolation / whatever they want to call it didn't have an effect, as some people say, you'd be fooling yourself. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. People are going to space. So last weekend, we had a guy go to kind of space, Richard Branson, right? And he goes, who went to kind of space and kind of up there, saw it. It was black above, and below it was blue. Now it's Richard Branson. He had his turn. Now it's Jeff Bezos' turn. And you're going to have young and old in this one. You're going to have young and old. You've got a person who will be the oldest person going to space. I think he's 81 or 82 years old. And then you're going to have somebody who's younger going to space in Oliver Damon, who is pretty darn pumped.
I am super excited to go to space and joining them on the flight.
Yep. Blue Origin will take off this weekend. He is 18 years old.
I've been dreaming about this all my life.
You're 18. So all your life's not a long time. Like if you're 81, you're saying, I've been dreaming about this all my life. You're like, wow. But you're 18. You're like, I've been dreaming about this for like weeks. Pretty excited that it's happening. I deserve it. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
They're going back indoors in California. Los Angeles has said you must leave. You must leave. Stay indoors. Don't go outside. The coronavirus, the Delta virus is coming and it's attacking everybody. And if you are to leave and go outside, you can be maskless. But when you come indoors again, please wear a mask. That's where we are when it comes to the coronavirus now. Some people very excited about it.
I was honestly feeling really anxious about not wearing them indoors, and you're not completely immune to the virus. Like even if you're fully vaccinated, the symptoms are just less, so you can still spread it. So I'm actually glad.
When I hear people like that, and again, that's great. You can wear your mask always. I mean, at some point, the banks are going to say, you can't come in here with a mask on anymore. At some point, they're going to say that. Some places are going to be like, you can't come in here with a mask anymore, just in case. Because normally the people who come in here with a mask are looking to take things. But you can always wear your mask. I just want everybody to understand that. You can always wear your mask pretty much whenever you want. Always. Now, this is what I'm interested in. We're weeks away from school starting. So a lot of places out here in Arizona, school ended in, obviously it was the latter part of the year. They stretched out through into, normally they're done by May, end of May, into June. And they're going back. Teachers will probably be in the classroom in the next week or so preparing. My stepdaughter's, because she's going back in, I think, about a week and a half. I mean, she's getting ready to go back. The battle is going to begin over the mask. That's what I think people need to be prepared for. One of the things yesterday we talked about what institutions Republicans believe in comparatively to Democrats. You know, obviously Republicans believe in the police more than Democrats do, and Democrats believe in the media more than the Republicans do. But some things got a little bit of a bump, right? Even though the Republicans believe in the police still got a nice little bounce from Democrats as far as their belief and trust in them. Public schools, though, for both, took a hit last year. Now, they believe in it still more than the Republicans do, but both Democrats and Republicans lost a little bit of trust. Part of that was the mask fight, I think, because people were talking about, they felt like, and I don't want to say it's so much teachers as it was the unions themselves who played a lot of political games. But this fight is going to get real because now we feel like we're in a position where we should be getting back to a normal sense of life, which for most of us we have. And now you're going to have to face the facts that some kids can't get vaccinated. There's not a vaccine for that. I read yesterday, and I saw several articles as well as some news stuff that probably not till midwinter are kids under the age of 12 going to have a chance to get the vaccine. So you're going to have a group of people, and you have somebody like Fauci's like, this is what happened. Everybody over 2 should wear a mask, which is never going to happen. I can't keep... If you have children, if you have kids, and you've had a 2-year-old, at some point in time, there is a phase where they're a nudist. I don't need these. I don't want these. Like, you're 25, you're like, we're going to have to put them in jail. But when they're 2, they're like, it's kind of cute. Can't keep anything on them, let alone a mask. So that battle's going to begin, and so will the battle at schools between parents, teachers, board members, unions, and everybody else.
We still have large groups of people who are not vaccinated, so the simplest solution is to continue to require to wear masks.
How do you think that's going to go? Just curious.
I am very nervous. My children will be wearing masks when they return.
Well, that's good. For some people, they want it.
I don't think it's fair that some people don't have to wear them and then others who want to wear them, because then they could be the only people wearing them.
That's fine. You want to wear them. You've made a choice. Some people, hey, I don't think it's fair that Jim's taller than me. No, if you want to wear it, like I said, you want to wear a damn mask, wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you've been vaccinated. Some places may still make you wear one. In other situations, I think it's ridiculous, especially for kids. If you're a teacher and you've been vaccinated, you should feel pretty darn good about that you're not going to get sick. Well, what about the other kids that may spread it? They're kids. Are we worried about the kids or what they may bring home? Well, we're worried about what they may bring home. Okay, that's totally understandable. If you're that worried about it, then maybe you should homeschool your kid. Well, I can't afford to. So this is the battle that we're going to have, and it's going to get ugly. I'm telling you, we saw towards the end of last year with the absolute breakdown when it came to kids and it came to the battling of parents, and you're going to see a lot more of this. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Biden, Schumer, they got a big wish list. They want to spend a lot of your money, my money, everybody else's money.
Firm up support for upcoming legislation, from infrastructure to voting rights. Biden needs all the votes he can get.
And I think we're going to get a lot done. We're going to invest in green infrastructure, strong, bold green infrastructure, electric vehicles, clean and renewable power, resilient projects, housing, and more. That will not only help our country adapt to a changing climate, but slow climate change itself.
The hubris of us to think that we could do something against that. $3.5 trillion. 3.5 trillion. 3.5 trillion. That's a lot of trillions. $1 trillion is a lot of trillion. $2 trillion is like, wow, that's a lot of trillion. $3.5 trillion is a lot of trillions. A lot.
Senate Budget Committee Chair Bernie Sanders, who played a key role in negotiating these climate initiatives, supports the package, and he's pushing back against GOP concerns of inflation.
Well, I am concerned about inflation. This bill, this $3.5 trillion, and then there's another $600 billion in a so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill, will pay for itself. It'll be paid for in a variety of ways, but significantly by higher taxes on the wealthy and large corporations. So that should not add to the inflation concerns.
But I asked the question, and we've asked this question on a few occasions, about climate change. First of all, of course, the climate's changed. Climate does that, right? Right now, they're talking about the Wobble moon. Have you seen the Wobble moon? You guys see the Wobble moon? The Wobble moon is happening, and apparently that's going to cause tides to go higher and stay longer. So flooding could be massive in the coming years. I'm like, oh my God, climate change? No, that's just something that happens. But we've heard about climate change for years. I go back a few days and play this amazing television show that we used to watch as children. It's Leonard Nimoy, right? You remember Leonard Nimoy? In Search of?
What scientists are telling us now is that the threat of an ice age is not as remote as they once thought. During the lifetime of our grandchildren, Arctic cold and perpetual snow could turn most of the inhabitable portions of our planet into a polar desert.
A polar desert? But that's how? How is that? How is that? Because now this is 1977. How in God's name did that happen? You're talking about spending $3.5 trillion, $4 trillion when you add in the $600 billion. Again, $1 trillion is a lot of trillion. You start adding this in, you're worried, well, we're not worried about inflation because we're going to take the money from other people and we're going to do all this stuff and we're going to do all these things and we're going to have all these renewables. How do you get those materials? Electric cars, how does that happen? Is there magic fairy dust, right? So, oh, yeah, you guys didn't hear about this fairy dust. It makes the car go. No, it's electricity. How do we power electricity? Well, right now, mostly it's through coal. How do we get coal? How do we get the batteries for these cars? By the way, when these cars are done, so you're feeling great about yourself, like, look at me, I got my electric car, my Tesla's pretty awesome, great for the environment. You're using electricity, which majority of time is powered through coal. So we get that by digging. From there, you've got all of these things, cobalt and all this other stuff inside of these batteries that have to be not only dug up, but eventually they're going to have to be disposed of. What happens then? It's not a perfect fit, but I think we need to figure out how we do this in a right way because we've heard stuff like this for a very long time.
Climate experts believe the next ice age is on its way. According to recent evidence, it could come sooner than anyone had expected. At weather stations in the far north, temperatures have been dropping for 30 years. Seacoasts, long free of summer ice, are now blocked year-round. According to some climatologists, within a lifetime, we might be living in the next ice age.
Oh, never thought of that. But no, that's the whole thing. This is what it talks about, right? It's all about climate change.
We are investing tens of billions of dollars in something that I personally am very excited about, a civilian climate corps. We're going to give hundreds and hundreds of thousands of young people who believe passionately in the need to reverse climate change the opportunity to earn good pay and get an educational benefit as well to help us combat climate change. So add it all together. You know what? In my view, this is probably the most consequential piece of legislation since the 1930s.
But in the 70s, we're talking about an ice age, and it had been dropping for that's the frustration people have. When you go, you don't get the real thought. Essentially, it's just another way to spend our money and grab a little bit of control here and a little bit of control there. We need to take better care of the planet. Absolutely. We need not crap where we eat. 110%. We need to do all of those things. But I always remind everybody this. We are not trying to save the planet. We're trying to save ourselves from eventually what the planet will do to us. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Rough Greens makes the pet food better. You know, the other night, I was telling a story yesterday. My dog Doodle, who is hilarious, right? We adopted him. He was supposed to be like 3, and we found out later on he's like 7 or 8. And we're like, oh, a little older, right? So he's kind of blind now. I've had him for a few years. Doesn't hear very well, but he had bad hips, and we loved him, and he's sweet, but he got really bitey. Now we've been giving him Rough Greens for a little over about 18 months or so, since January of last year. And the other night, he jumped over the ottoman thing onto the couch, and it was hilarious. Now, the landing wasn't very good, but it was amazing, because a year and a half ago, we thought about putting him down because we didn't think his hips could take it anymore. Canine VitaSmart with vegetables, minerals, vitamins, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all of these things has helped his arthritic hips and his joints like you could not believe. Try it for yourself. They want you to try it for free. You cover shipping, they're going to send you a bag for free. It's that simple. Little teaspoon, sprinkle on top of your dog's food. Watch the difference it makes. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Cover shipping, get the bag for free. Roughgreens.com/Chad. Or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
How many others are there? Enough. True, the pandemic has lowered the bar for movie release records, but Marvel's Black Widow's still got every reason to celebrate their latest milestone. The flick just crossed the $100 million domestic earnings mark and did it in just 6 days, faster than any other pandemic-era release.
To fight with you.
F9, A Quiet Place Part 2, and Godzilla vs. Kong have also made more than $100 million. Marvel's owned by Disney, parent company of ABC News.
This weekend, out two in the large category, if you will. One that looks interesting in the limited category. First, Escape Room Tournament of Champions. I saw the first Escape Room. It was fun. Fun. That's all I was looking for. So we know how popular escape rooms are. People do them during Christmas time, right? So, I mean, during Halloween, you go to these things. There's kind of like, you got to figure out how to escape the room. There's clues, except this one, they're kind of playing for keeps. First one was really good, and this one's called Tournament of Champions. And Space Jam, baby. Space Jam's coming out. I read one, just one, review that said it is basically a 90-minute commercial. I was like, oh. Some people I've worked with in the past that are in that, doing voiceovers and stuff like that, and some people I've even studied under, and we'll see how well it does. I mean, it looks like a fun movie. Jack's like, he loved the first Space Jam. I'm like, I don't know how good this one's going to be. I'm sure it'll be okay. Don Cheadle stars in it, along with the likes of, Bugs, Porky, LeBron James is also part of it. So it'll be interesting to see how that thing plays out. And then the other movie that opens up in limited release, Pig. What? Pig. And here's the weird thing. Before I tell you the premise of this hilariously bizarre film that is a thriller drama, the star of the movie is getting rave reviews. And yesterday I posted something about him and his marriage to his wife, who said he knew it was meant to be when he found out that she kept flying squirrels. Yes, kids, Nicolas Cage. So what is this movie about? Picture this, okay? And by the way, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. 8.5 rating is the average rating on was it Metrosenic and all this stuff? So take a guy who's a bit odd, we'll call that Nicolas Cage, throw in the fact that he used to be a world-class chef, throw in the fact that he's got a truffle-finding pig, so the pig finds truffles. Now, throw in the fact that somebody beats him up and takes his truffle pig, and what do you have? You have Babe meets John Wick. Sign me up. He is so much fun. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Also, guess who's got a book? Any guesses? Anybody?
Colin Kaepernick polarized the nation when he went down on one knee during the Star-Spangled Banner before an exhibition game in 2016 to protest racial injustice and police treatment of black people. Now Kaepernick wants to make a difference with children with a series of books through the children's publisher, Scholastic. Kaepernick was adopted by a white family, and his picture book is based on a kindergarten memory when he used a yellow crayon to draw his family, then a brown one to draw himself. He says he hopes to encourage young people to live with authenticity and purpose.
Got a book. So if you have the book, feel free to do that. Lots of stuff to do this weekend. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We will be implementing an order requiring masking indoors, regardless of vaccination, that will go into effect at 11:59 on Saturday, July 17th. Masking indoors must again become a normal practice by all, regardless of vaccination status, so that we can stop the trends and level of transmission we're currently seeing. We expect to keep this order in place until we begin to see improvements in our community transmission of COVID-19, but waiting for us to be at a high community transmission level before making a change would be too late.
Dr. Muntu Davis. L.A. County is restoring its indoor mask policy because people aren't vaccinated. It's pretty much the simple answer right there. People aren't vaccinated, and they're getting it. And, you know, I'm going to say this probably sound kind of, you know, assish, but it's okay. We're not going to get to herd immunity through vaccination alone over a long period of time with a singular shot that would work. You could probably get to herd immunity. But getting where we want to get isn't going to be because of vaccination alone. And so people catching it, people have chose not to get vaccinated for whatever reason. And it's not because, oh, well, you know, they couldn't find a place to get vaccinated. No, there's plenty of vaccinations available. People are choosing not to for whatever reason. Some of it's disinformation. Some of it's misinformation. Some of it is people are hesitant, want to see how this thing plays itself out. But at the end of this last, you know, several weeks, they've seen a rise in the Delta variant, so they're going to do this. I don't know how people in L.A., some people are like, oh, it's a great idea. It's the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. Other people are like, no. So I think you're going to find it somewhere in between. So if you're going to a store in L.A. and you've been used to not wearing a mask, you're masking up again. Will more come behind it? I'm assuming that more will come behind it because that's what they do. So let's see here. 1,500 cases yesterday, average 1,176 cases. 7-day average a couple weeks ago was 761. It's gone up a little bit. Here's kind of the reality, though. You have how many? 13 plus million people there, and you're deciding this is what you want to do? This is kind of what you're, at this point, with 1,500 cases and 1,176 7-day moving average. Feels a little knee-jerky to me. I'm just saying.
Our hope is that with continued vaccination of people, as well as with masking by everyone indoors, which is much easier and universal and makes this a normal practice again.
Yeah, have fun. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. I think you get a lot of pushback, and I've had some people say, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to come fine us? Are they going to come tell us what they're going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think they know what they're going to do. This is the Surgeon General, Murty, talking about misinformation. And misinformation is I think we can all agree that misinformation, and let's first of all break down misinformation, disinformation are separate things. People who are misinformed, if you show them something and how they're misinformed, in some cases they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't understand. Disinformation is where people are actively going out and putting out stuff that they know isn't true. And in doing so, passing it off, not only is it true, passing off to people who buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Today, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory on the dangers of health misinformation. Surgeon General advisories.
By the way, can I just say this? If you've not seen him, he loves to wear himself a uniform. So know that the Surgeon General is part of the military, has the full uniform. Just want to let you guys know, he does love wearing a uniform.
Observed for urgent public health threats. And while those threats have often been related to what we eat, drink, and smoke, today we live in a world where misinformation poses an imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health.
But not just our nation's health. People get misinformed all the time. And it's kind of a sad situation because people do it on purpose, knowing they're taking advantage of other people who are too lazy, some too ignorant, and a majority of them too caught up in their own belief to ever challenge something. And so whatever they see, they take at face value, and then they pass it on to others.
Much of the misinformation that is circulating online is often coming from individuals who don't have bad intentions, but who are unintentionally sharing information that they think might be helpful. And that's why in this advisory, among the things we're asking individuals to do is to pause before they share, to check sources, and if they're not sure if a source is credible, to not share. When it comes to misinformation, not sharing is caring, unlike what many of our moms taught us earlier in life.
Murty, you're a funny guy. Not sharing is caring. It's frustrating. It is. And I get this in politics. Yesterday, I got a bunch of people sending me stuff because we're talking about, they're talking about not only this, but the audit. What's going on? We'll touch on that in a little bit. But this, it's like, did you know that Pfizer has to put warnings up now all over because people are magnetic? I'm like, that's not true. You could have found that out in 30 seconds. And here's the thing, too. Some people, because they want to believe that for whatever reason that they're right. Like if you took this vaccination, that you are going to be magnetized, that you are going to be this, or you're going to be that, or you're going to get this, and this is what's going to happen. And they want to be right so bad that even when you show them that that's not true, they've got another thing to say, no. Let me show you. I'll show you what it is. But these are individuals who are doing stuff. And it's funny, he asked the tech companies for stuff.
When it comes to determining what is accurate in terms of health information, science has to guide us. And the good news is that we have credible science individuals in our country. We have doctors and nurses in communities. We have public health departments and the CDC. These should be our sources of credibility when it comes to evaluating whether information is true or not. The problem right now is that the voices of these credible health professionals are getting drowned out. And that's one of the reasons we are asking technology companies to help lift up the voices of credible health authorities. It's also why they have to do more to reduce the misinformation that's out there so that the true voices of experts can shine through.
No. And first of all, the beauty of having that free world that we live in is great. Secondly, you guys have messed up a ton too, so there's disinformation and mistrust there. And this is the problem with science when it gets political. And unfortunately, science is all politics now. Science is secondary. you should listen to your doctor. You should listen to experts, but you should also be able to challenge, because other experts will come up and say, well, that's not true. So much of this is new information because it's still in the infancy of this. But the misinformation, disinformation, you're not going to get that to change because you have human beings. And human beings, we're going to come at things with their own intentions in mind, their own beliefs. It's not the tech company that need to go, because the tech company already plays too much of a role in what we're allowed to see and not allowed to see based on the fact that we're trying to protect people who apparently at times are stupid. And we have to protect them for their own goods. Sorry. It's nuts. It's crazy. And we need to lift these voices up. Remember, this is the tech company, these tech companies who have right now, if you put something where you say, well, you know, this over here, this study says this, they'll say, and it's a study from like, you know, Oxford or Cambridge, and they don't like it because it goes against the wokeness, they'll tell you, oh, this could have contained some misinformation. And at the same time, they'll put something up like we saw the other day with the trans couple and how upset the guy was that he can't nurse his child. And somehow that's fine. That's not misinformation. Like, that's the craziness. Because politics, wokeness, science, it gets together, and then you have a mumbo jumble of crap. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. I'm excited for the pretend Olympics getting ready to come. I don't even know what to call these things. Yesterday, James Lagerman's like, I don't know who they're going to wave at in the opening ceremonies because nobody's going to be there. Now you have other things, which is the fact that some teams are already having issues before they got there.
We're currently looking at the refugee team. These are a group of athletes from countries who've had to flee for war. They all compete under one flag. It's really wonderful and very moving. But at the moment, they're all stuck in Doha, in Qatar, because they can't get on a plane because a member of their team has tested positive for COVID.
So they can't get in there. What about events?
The IOC has just published a list online, which they're going to update daily, calling it a positive case list. So we'll be watching that to see if it grows, because, you know, if it gets out of hand, you've got entire events that might have to be cancelled.
Could you imagine that? If they have to cancel full events, and then yesterday, one of the stars of the team for Team USA, the NBA team, Bradley Beal, tested positive. And not only is he not going, they had to cancel a game last night. So this Olympics is going to be, at best, awful, and at worst, an absolute unmitigated disaster. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text the program. Japan should read the fine print and find out if there's any money-back guarantee. Is there a 45-day happiness guarantee? No, there is not. There is with Raycons, though. With Raycons, the best earbuds around, you get a 45-day happiness guarantee. If you don't like the sound, if you don't like the fit, you send them back. No questions out. They'll refund your money. No stems, no wires, 6 different soft gel tips. So it makes it that every year is different, and you want the perfect fit, you'll find it with Raycons. The best charging case around. It's waterproof, 45-day guarantee. Let me tell you something. I've had several of these. I've had many of my friends try them. They all say the same. The best sound quality, and it's because of the fit. The fit, everybody rages about the fit. It's awesome, but having that case as well. I go out and I play a lot of golf. I work out a lot. I love the fact that I charge my case up, and then I take it with me, and I put my earbuds in there, and I don't have to worry about it being charged on the wall upstairs or any of that stuff. The case itself is the charger, and it charges up your earbuds. Get your Raycons now. Free shipping, 1-year warranty as well. If something happens to them within a year, you send them back. No questions asked. Get yourself new ones. How do you do it? Buy, B-U-I, Raycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Saves you 15%. They already start well under $100. The best premium earbuds you will ever own. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a peek and find out what's trending on the webs. And we'll start in the magical world of Twitter. Space Jam the movie, because Space Jam's out in theaters now on HBO and theaters. And it's got all the usual suspects that you would find. Yeah, what's up, Doc? He's in there. As well as LeBron James and other NBA stars. So that is out. Thousands of flamingos have died in a drought in Turkey. There's a drought in Turkey, and they have died. Central Turkey. So they just have flamingos everywhere. And they're not pink, by the way, because flamingos aren't naturally pink. It's what they eat that turns them pink. They're just laying there. Millions are on the move, according to climate change. That's in a bunch of newspapers and trending articles everywhere. And Anthony Bourdain, his documentary is out, but they used an AI model of Bourdain's voice to say lines he never uttered in the new documentary, which is weird. Head on over to Google. The British Open, the championship, is currently going on. Biggest trending thing yesterday, as well as American Horror Story. Dwayne Haskins, the Pittsburgh Steelers QB, his wife was arrested for apparently domestic battery. I think she knocks out one of his teeth. L.A. County is trending, not in a good way, because the mask mandate is back on. Bryson DeChambeau, one of the best golfers in the world, who is an odd character, to say the least, is also trending. And the reason was, he said something you don't often find in an athlete when it comes to their sports. He went after his equipment, of which he gets paid a lot of money by a brand called Cobra.
If I can hit it down the middle of the fairway, that's great. But again, with the driver right now, the driver sucks. It's not a good face for me, and we're still trying to figure out how to make it good on the mishits. And, I'm living on the razor's edge like I've told people for a long time. And, when I did get it outside of the fairway, like in the first cut and whatnot, I catch jumpers out of there, and I couldn't control my wedges. So it's quite finicky for me because it's a golf course that's pretty short.
Could you imagine if, let's just say, I don't know, Michael Jordan comes out and says, I hate these shoes, man. They suck. These Nike shoes suck. That's what he said yesterday. Cobra fired back basically saying, paraphrasing, you bitch too much. Nothing makes you happy. You're never happy, no matter what we do. And we're all trying over here. And the guy who said that caddied for him 2 weeks ago. Ugly. It's weird to come out and have somebody just say that straight out. Yeah, my equipment sucks. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Right? It is not the paintbrush, but the artist who struggles. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Sharon Osbourne was out after she said something that was not offensive, but somebody deemed it to be so. because they didn't like Piers Morgan because Piers Morgan, he talks like this and, he's white. So Sharon Osbourne out. So The View, right, they got their stuff. But The Talk, right, so The View lost their lady. She's leaving even though Disney's like, please don't go. So she's gone, right? Meghan McCain, who are they going to replace her with? Don't know. But The Talk, when they lost Sharon, they're like, we got to get somebody. And they're like, boom, Jerry O'Connell. That guy. People are upset about it because we live in a world of people being upset all the time. All the time. People are mad because you hired a cisgendered white guy. Oh, my goodness me. So he's going to join at the end of the year. Wonder what they're paying. It's got to be good money, right? It's got to be good money to give up all those awful acting gigs he's had over the last few years. He did Stand By Me, and then since then it's been, I'm kidding. He was in Piranha 3D. So now he's going to be in this. He was also in Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach. Assignment Miami Beach. You know who else was in that? Not me, but Michael Winslow. Did you see him the other night? For those of you guys who don't know who Michael Winslow is, Michael Winslow is the guy that is famous for making all the crazy voices. Not the voices, but the noises. He does all that stuff. He was on that the other night. It was kind of interesting to watch because he said apparently this is his time. I don't know. I mean, he made a ton of movies back in the day, and I think he's had some issues along the way, but he came back out, and they didn't really kind of, like, people are looking at him like, I kind of recognize that guy, but I don't really recognize that guy, but I kind of do. And then he came out and he did all of his, he does the robot voices and stuff. It's really interesting. But Jerry O'Connell's taken over the talk spot, vacated by Sharon Osbourne. Sharon! So good luck to you, sir. Good luck for social media is going to destroy you. Have fun with that. You know how I know that? Because of things like this.
Someone, Mrs. Moto, decided to point out that I need to lose weight. Because, see, I don't have a scale or I don't have clothes that I'm trying to put on every day. And I don't have mirrors, so I don't see what's become of me. So I needed that help to let me know that I need to lose weight.
Yeah. She's being kind of sarcastic here. That's Valerie Bertinelli. You guys recognize her, right? She's had issues over the last couple of years. Plus, her ex, Eddie Van Halen, died. They were still really close, and that's her son's father, Wolfgang. And I'm always amazed. Like yesterday, somebody went on like YouTube or something and said, you're a fat SOB or something like that, and you suck, and you don't take calls. There's a reason we don't take calls. Why? Because nobody wants to listen to you. We've done studies. And by we, I mean radio companies. They've done studies. People want to hear themselves. They don't want to hear other people. Does that make sense? When it comes to callers. But the first thing somebody does, you're fat. I'm like, okay, whatever. So you see my head and my shoulders and you think I'm big or something, which I don't care. I mean, people say stuff that way. But to take the time to insult somebody. What did you say earlier, Producer Phil? People have too much time on their hands?
People have way too much time on their hands.
Yeah. Way too much time. And on top of that, people are miserable. They're miserable AFs who've got nothing else to do. And so the thought process is, I'm going to make you as miserable as I am.
You're not being helpful. Because when you see somebody who has put some weight on, my first thought is that person is obviously going through some things. Because if I could lose the weight and keep it off, I would. But since I haven't been successful with that, my whole entire life at 61, I'm still dealing with it. You think I'm not tired of it, lady?
You listen to her there. She is, you can hear her. She's hurting, right? Like she's, and here's the problem. Like, today, I was, because I get up extra early and I'm flipping through something and I see an article about Russell Crowe and his new girlfriend. She's 30 years old. She's an actress. She'd never been on anything that you're like, oh yeah. She was like, she played Dead Body number 4 on CSI or something like that. But I clicked on it and I go, what's he up to now? And it shows a picture of him. And I'll be honest, I was like, whoa, he's probably 320 pounds. Like, he doesn't look, you would have like, whoa. And the same thing. People are like, you're gross, you're disgusting. Did you eat the gladiator? And it's, when you're in the limelight like that, any little thing, people decide to attack. And it's fine if you want to go politically, people fight over politics. They have a different point of view. That's one thing. But when you start to get personal over stuff and you're like, hey, you're from One Day at a Time. I remember you when you were on the cover of People and you were all these things. Hey, I'm going to destroy you because you put on X amount of pounds because you're 61. You're probably not as active as you used to be. And you've had some issues. So the best thing that I could do is pile onto it because I, too, am a miserable SOB.
Where's the compassion? You think a stupid little comment like you need to lose weight. Not helpful.
Yeah. Oh, Chad, come on. How about this? You guys know who Jesse James Decker is? Is anybody? Some of you might. Jesse James Decker is, how should I say this, kids and kittens? Ridiculous looking. If we're just going to go, let's look at looks. Even when Valerie Bertinelli was beautiful in her days as One Day at a Time, I had a crush on her when I was younger. Even then, she would probably admit, at my best, I would and could never look like Jessie Decker. She was hit with the genes of genes. And guess what? People are destroying her.
So I've always been pretty confident in myself, and I'm not perfect. I've always fluctuated with my weight up and down, but I have to admit that I have recently been sent a Reddit page that rips me apart on a daily basis, and they're talking about how apparently fat I've gotten and how terrible my body looks. It's pretty awful, and I just cannot believe this is still happening in the world, that people are doing this.
Yeah. Now, so what is she like? 225 pounds from 115?
And most recently, over the past year, I decided to just let myself live. I work out and I eat what I want. 100% I'm 10 pounds heavier than I used to be. I used to weigh 115, and I'm not anymore. I eat what I want, and I'm happy with that. But when you are writing and bullying me about how much weight I've gained and how fat my thighs are, I do take that offensively, because what is the messaging that you are sharing? What is the messaging? It is so disgusting.
I like your thighs. Just want to let you down. I like your thighs. You know who doesn't like your thighs? Weirdos. People who hate other people, but mostly hate themselves.
I'm shaking because I cannot believe what I'm reading. How can you wake up and live with yourself? And it does make you stop and you look in the mirror and you go, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? Am I gaining weight? Is there something wrong with me? And it is hurtful, and I am such a strong, confident person, and I always have been, but it does hurt my heart a little that people are ripping every little thing about me apart. And it's not okay, and I hope my daughter doesn't grow up in a world where people do this to her, because it's wrong, and I think we all need to do better.
Take away this, right? Take away, two privileged women who people are going on. That's for everybody. That is. Even yesterday, we were talking about this because, again, where I work, in the mornings, I'm over here, I'm by myself, I don't see anybody. I was just telling the guys I'm over practicing my putting with my 3-iron. I don't know why, because that's the only thing I have up here right now. But I go next door, and it's mostly younger people. I'm 50. I'm not super old, but I'm not super young. But most of them are in their, mid-20s to early 30s. And they were talking about this, some of the ladies over there. And they'll talk about the stuff that they get, that people say, that comment on their Instagrams and their stuff. And people that send in emails or will call them in the middle of their newscast after they're done and talk about how much they suck. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is wrong with people? What is... We apparently feel that we have the right to tell everybody how awful they are. But when you get it right, very rarely will anybody ever chime in. And it goes back to the Yelp world. I've always said, if you have a great steak, you'll tell one person. If you have a horrible steak, you'll tell 10. Because if it bleeds, it leads. Right? That's always been the thing. And if it doesn't go the way we want, or we don't think it's what it should be, it'll lead for us to tell everybody else. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said program. Love hearing from everybody. Talk a bit about Blue Origin going up this weekend. You got an old guy, got a young guy. And then you had a guy who paid a lot of money who said, hold on a second. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. My Pillow has your Giza Dream Sheets. Get your Giza Dream Sheets. Long staple cotton grown in a particular area right there between the Sahara Desert, the Nile River, and the Mediterranean. Ultra soft, ultra breathable. Right now, the Giza Dream Sheets. You buy a sheet set, you get another one for free. So you buy one set, you're going to get the pillowcases, the whole 9 yards, everything. You're going to get the next set absolutely free. 60-day money-back guarantee, machine washable, tons of colors to choose from, and all the sizes. Buy one, get one free. It's the Giza Dream Sheets from MyPillow. You go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Plus, they got great deals on all their other stuff, including their amazing towels, which are normally $110. You can get it for $39.99 right now. Also with a 6-day money-back guarantee. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, or 800-983-4975. 800-983-4975. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Somebody just direct messaged me and said, who doesn't like her? Who doesn't like a girl with a little thickness to her? I'm like, right? I can almost guarantee you the people that are sending horrible things to like Valerie Bertinelli and Jesse James Decker, you know, she's like a singer-songwriter, and there's people are doing it, mostly awful women. Totally. So, guys are like, she's hot. It's like, oh, look at her. She's got a little cottage cheese on her thighs. Like, whatever. I like cottage cheese. Why don't you like me? Because you're gross. Get to a certain level, you're like, gross. It's not very nice. It's because of your attitude. It's because of the attitude. That's why. It's just so silly. My goodness. Again, I go back to, who has time for this? Apparently they do. If they spent less time doing that, more time doing other things, maybe they too would be on their way to space.
The Dutch student pilot who just graduated high school is the first paying customer for Blue Origin. We don't know exactly how much he paid, but we know he was part of that same auction that led to the $28 million purchase. The four will launch to space aboard a completely autonomous spaceship. No pilot will be on board.
No pilot on board. Totally free-flowing, freewheeling, free-balling spaceflight. Now, last week, Richard Branson went up. This week, Bezos going up with his. And there's a difference in the flights.
One uses an airplane to go up to the edge of space. One is a rocket that will come back down on a parachute. Two very different ways, about the same amount of weightlessness, 3 to 4 minutes, and a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's all... I don't know what the kid paid. I'm like looking around like, is his dad a hedge fund guy? Or is it one of those things where they had like, all right, here's the deal. We're going to have like low income flight and then we have regular flight. So you know how like some of those places where like these people over here, because they make, $400,000 a year, are paying $18,000 quadrillion a month for rent or whatever. And these people over here, because they only make $40,000 a year, are paying like $4. Maybe that's how they're doing. I don't know. Maybe it's pay what you can afford. Is this said future? Is this going to be something that anybody's going to be able to do?
Cheaper into orbit means that the possibility for us mere mortals to be able to visit space could be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think it'll happen soon. I think once you get 3 or 4 of these, and then you have several different ships for each of these groups, the opportunities for these prices to drop down to somewhat manageable, say in the next 3 or 4 years, where even, you might be paying still several $1,000s to go, but you won't be paying $28 million. And by the way, apparently he can't go. He's like, I got something else going on. So we have to make it a later date. I mean, is that something else going on? I'm not quite sure if this thing's going to work, and it may blow up. Maybe. But the guy who paid $28 million will not be heading up, at least this time. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Imagine this, if you will. You're Aussie, then you're Irish.
Imagine going to sleep and waking up with a foreign accent. That's exactly what happened to Brisbane girl Angie.
I woke up this morning. I didn't do anything different. I had breakfast. I didn't really talk to my housemates because Lexi had gone to work already, and Sasha, I don't think she was up before I left. I took a shower, and I usually sing when I'm showering and listening to songs, and all of a sudden I was talking in an Irish accent, and I thought initially that was just something I was just hearing, that this can't be real, and now I can't shake it.
I can't shake it. No matter what happens, I can't shake the thing. I can't get rid of it.
4 days after undergoing a tonsillectomy, Angie's accent suddenly switched to Irish.
I'm still in shock. Today is day 14 and I still haven't woken up like my old self.
Exposure to like Irish people or anything, it sounds almost like a Northern Irish accent and a weird kind of country accent.
So no, I do not have any Irish influences or have any Irish friends. If anything that I can think of, maybe a couple of episodes of Peaky Blinders and that's all.
Well, at least you got a decent one. Remember the British lady who got the Chinese accent? Yeah, because you think about that for a second. And in today's woke world, and she was like in a car accident or something, and then she had a stroke, and now she's got a Chinese accent, and she's white. Oh, goodness. How many times can you cancel somebody? Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
There are some who took that vaccine, and you are very concerned whether you will live or whether you will die as time takes its toll. The Lord said, reach out to me today and I'll neutralize its effects inside your bloodstream. Reach out now, for neutralization is being given.
Actually, I think what he said is, I gave you science so you guys could use it. Really? Vaccines. Do they work? I'm thinking they do. Now, I'm thinking they do. I could be totally wrong. I could look at the numbers and go, how many people are getting sick? X amount. How many are unvaccinated? Pretty much X amount. Oh, how many are unvaccinated? Almost none. Oh, really? Yeah. Almost none? Almost none. That's how many? That's how many. Almost none. But some people aren't getting vaccinated. Some places are starting to clamp down already when they've seen just a blip, and they're like, well, got to do it.
we will be implementing an order requiring masking indoors, regardless of vaccination, that will go into effect at 11:59 on Saturday, July 17th. Masking indoors must again become a normal practice by all, regardless of vaccination status, so that we can stop the trends and level of transmission we're currently seeing. We expect to keep this order in place until we begin to see improvements in our community transmission of COVID-19, but waiting for us to be at a high community transmission level before making a change would be too late.
Dr. Muntu Davis, telling everybody basically if you're in Los Angeles, California, at one time, they were getting about 1,000 cases a day. Oh, that's right now. 1,000 cases. 13 million plus people. I want you guys to understand this. 13 million plus folk that live there, in and around there. 10 million in and around the county, but you start counting in some of the other counties. I mean, because if you've never been to California, it's just urban sprawl. There is no real difference between point A and point B, but you're looking at a massive amount of people. 1,000 a day is the average, the last 7-day average. And this is where they're deciding this is it. We got to do it. Some people happy.
Well, I think it's a great idea because a lot of people could say that they're vaccinated and they're probably not vaccinated and they're still wearing no mask. And there's a lot of people getting contaminated. So I'm agreeing with that.
I was honestly feeling really anxious about not wearing them indoors. And you're not completely immune to the virus. Like even if you're fully vaccinated, the symptoms are just less, so you can still spread it. So I'm actually glad.
All those people that get mad over just being asked to wear masks, like it's just a mask, dude.
It's just a mask, dude. It's just a mask. You can always wear your mask, by the way. If you three were worried about the virus still and you've been vaccinated and you're like, oh, well, we don't have to wear a mask, you could still wear a mask. They're totally fine with that. So you have one group of people, right, who are super excited about this. They're ready for it. They're like, they're just, oh, yeah, let's get this thing back going again, right? And you've got other people who refuse to take the mask. They refuse to take the shot. They refuse to do any of the stuff that they think is going against them, either taking away their freedoms or goes against, they may turn into a plant or.
There are some who took that vaccine, and you are very concerned whether you will live or whether you will die as time takes its toll. The Lord said, reach out to me today and I'll neutralize its effects inside your bloodstream. Reach out now, for neutralization is being given.
Is that what people... Just misinformation, disinformation, ignorance. I'm good with personal choice. I'm totally fine. But are you making the choice based on reality and data, science? Somebody asked me today, are you worried that you're going to die because of this? I'm like, because of COVID or because of the vaccine? The vaccine. I'm like, no. I'm not. I'm not worried about it. It's like some people will be like, oh, dude, you hear Jim got the vaccine and he died? Yeah, no way. Really? Yeah. How? He was hit by a bus. Oh, but it's because of the vaccine. Because he was magnetized and it sucked him towards the bus. That's the chaos that you deal with. And because of that, you have the fact that we're seeing spikes. Who's getting sick, though? People who aren't vaccinated. Who's pretty much not getting sick, and if they are getting sick, it's not really that bad. People that are vaccinated. So the unvaccinated, not getting sick. The people that are really getting sick are vaccinated. I'm just doing the math and science. That's it. That's it. Like, I look at it this way. If I was going to jump out of an airplane and people are trying to jockey for positions on, hey, I'm like, all right, so who's done this? Oh, we've done this here. We've done a bunch of these things. This is how this thing works. Okay, how does it work? You jump out, you pull it. I've packed it. It's great. It's amazing. It's fantastic. You're going to free fall. It's going to be a little scary. You pull it. It's going to float down. You're going to be fine. It works. Boom. Over here, they're like, don't do it because Jesus doesn't want you to do it with that one. They want you just to jump and have the faith that you're going to land on your feet. Or on the other side of things, other people are saying, well, if you do that right there, half the way down, you're going to turn into a lizard when you land, or whatever baloney that people, which one would you do? You'd be like, well, I'm jumping out with the guy that packed the parachute and knew exactly what they were doing. Exactly. But people have choice, too. And I would applaud people. I'm like, I want to see the lizard when he hits the ground. I want to see how you did the superhuman jump and land on your feet. Because I'm also a person that loves the free will side of things. But when you're having to make a choice like this, I tend to go with data and science. That's just me, though. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Touched that you guys send me awful messages. I just want to let you guys know I'm very touched by that. And I ask that you continue to do so because it makes us laugh. Speaking of messages, finally, Peter Ducey gets Jen Psaki to answer a question about Cuba.
Now that you've had a few days to think about it, does this White House still think the protests in Cuba are happening because people are upset about a rise in COVID cases there, or is there some thought maybe given to the possibility that they are protesting because they are sick of communism?
Well, Peter, first I would say communism is a failed ideology, and we certainly believe that.
Oh, it is. Yeah, because that's what some of them were saying, right? Like, oh, yeah, the only reason they're upset is because they don't have enough vaccines. Is that why? Why? So wait. You mean to tell me that's the only reason they're upset? Being told they have to think a certain way, being told they can't own anything, being told they have virtually no freedoms outside of what the government itself allows you to have based only on the fact that you must believe a certain way. They're not upset about that. They're upset about the fact that they didn't have enough COVID vaccines.
It has failed the people of Cuba. They deserve freedom. They deserve a government that supports them, whether that is making sure they have health and medical supplies, access to vaccines, or whether they have economic opportunity and prosperity. And instead, this has been a government, an authoritarian communist regime that has repressed its people and has failed the people of Cuba. Hence, we're seeing them in the streets.
Yeah. Venezuela, look at the same. Now, you can listen to her or you can go to the person who knows. When you turn to things Cuban, if you can't get Gloria Estefan, little pitbull.
This is a message to the world. If you don't understand what's going on, then you need to wake the up. Not only is this a Cuba event, a Cuba thing, this is a world event. This isn't about politics. Let me tell you something, why I'm frustrated and when I see everybody out there and doing what they're doing, which I love what they're doing. Because not only do we live for freedom, we ride for freedom, we die for freedom, but we appreciate freedom. It gets me hot, frustrates me not being able to help my own people.
Are you sure? Because we're hearing it's not about freedom, Pitbull. We're hearing it's about vaccines. It's not about whether or not you got to wait in line for hours and hours to get the basic necessities and you have nothing there, including freedom. We're hearing it's just about the other side. And this is Pitbull.
But most of all, not being able to help and really get them what they deserve, which is freedom. And this is my way of talking to the world. People that we're so proud of, people such as Jeff Bezos, Cuban-American, graduated from a high school in Miami, built one of the biggest companies in the world, the richest man in the world. He's somebody that can get involved and really help us. All we can do is create awareness, but politics are gonna be politics. And while they figure out what they figure out, we need to figure out how to really help. While they're losing their lives over there literally for something that we wake up every day and appreciate, which is freedom.
Man, he gets it. That is Pitbull. He gets it. He knows.
What are you doing here? This is Pitbull's house. He knows everything about South Florida. He can help us find Mort.
Doorbell, doorbell, doorbell. Ring. It's my house. Esta mi casa.
Wow. Imagine kind of knowing two languages.
I love Pitbull, though. Mr. Worldwide. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Still waiting for the where does socialism work for real? Where does socialism work for real? Not the, oh, we think it's socialism because it's what Bernie Sanders says it is, and it's in Sweden or Denmark or Norway, the Scandinavian model, and it's not. It's just free market capitalist society with high taxes. Where has it worked for real? Also, where does it work for real in a country full of actual diversity and not pretend diversity? which so many other countries have. Nowhere is as diverse as we are. And when you travel the world, you start to realize that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Raycons, let me tell you what is real. They are. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what Pitbull would say. They're incredible. Best sound quality, best fit, best design. You get several different colors to choose from, a 45-day happiness guarantee, 1-year warranty, seamless Bluetooth pairing, which I love. Incredible talk time, but also the charging case that comes with it, 36 hours of charge time. So what that means is you charge up the case goes with you. That is your charger. You just throw them back in there. You don't have to worry about it being inside the house. Oh, I forgot my ear. Nope, it's with you all the time. You will love these. 1-year warranty as well. So try them right now. Save big. The best earbuds that you will find at a price point that is well under $100. Save an extra 15%. Buy Raycon.com/Chad. Buy Raycon.com/Chad. Buy Raycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Helen Keller is a Nazi terrorist that is a male. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Hitler?
Who's Hitler?
Vaccines work, but only the Chad Benson Show is 100% effective against stupidity.
Do you know what D-Day is? D-Day.
A person? A rapper?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you find your favorite woke-free podcasts. This is the Chad Benson Show.
New words being added to dictionary.com. So, more than 300 new words. Here are some of the words being added. Dad joke. A corny and generally unfunny joke reminiscent of the types of remarks made by middle-aged or elderly fathers to their children. Death cleaning. I always thought these were phrases, because both death and cleaning are in the dictionary. And they're not just one long word, they're two words. But it is the process of cleaning and decluttering one's home so as to spare others, especially family members, from the chore of it after one's death. And dumpster fire is also another one. Situation, a person or a thing that is disastrous and out of control. JOMO, joy of missing out, and JSYK, just so you know, also being added in. Some of this stuff is deep dive, info dump, elevator pitch, Latinx, Chicana X. Are you ready for this one, Phil? WOMXN.
The heck is that?
Instead of saying woman, it's wumps. Afrofuturism, colorism, white lash, white guilt, white fragility, the male gaze. The assumption in a visual and creative arts that the default or desired audience consists of heterosexual males, and inclusion of women in narrative or art should seek to please the audience with the objectification or sexualization of these depicted women. Toxic masculinity. Blank posting is a form of trolling, and I say blank because it starts with an S. It's a form of trolling when someone posts off topics, false or offensive contributions to an online forum with the intent to derail the discussion or provoke other participants. Virtue signaling. Term credited to writer James Bartholomew, 2005. We define this as sharing of one's point of view or on social or political issues, often on social media, in order to garner praise or acknowledgement of one's righteousness from others who share that the point of view, or passively rebuke those who do not. Cry bullies. Look at all this stuff. Oh, my Lord. Brain fart. thirst trap, imposter syndrome, or imposter syndrome. What's imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome, anxiety of self-doubt that results from persistently undervaluing one's competence and active role in achieving success while falsely attributing one's accomplishments to luck or other external forces. New words. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. The Olympics get ready to go on. And every day you turn around, it's something new. We've gone from, hey, we're going to delay it a year and we should get back to normalcy and living life totally fine, to, oh my God, I can't believe they're going to do it, to an arena now full of nothing. People who are participating have to get there, never leave their room, do their sport, then leave the country immediately. And if you win a medal, you'll have to put it around your own neck. Oh, but it gets better. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
There are some who took that vaccine, and you are very concerned whether you will live or whether you will die as time takes its toll. The Lord said, reach out to me today and I'll neutralize its effects inside your bloodstream. Reach out now, for neutralization is being given.
Neutralization. So if you've taken it and you feel that you've made a mistake, just reach out. I don't. It's again, I often wonder who believes all this stuff, but you'd be surprised. I get emails, I get text messages, I get DMs where people are like, let me tell you, it's right there on Pfizer's website. You're going to become a magnet. It's one of the effects. But when you don't believe something, right? So like you don't believe, no matter what somebody tells you, you will never believe it. First of all, stop arguing or trying to convince people, right? That's just, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get them to change their mind or sway. Just let it go. What's the great saying? You never argue with a stupid man. Why? Because usually when you're arguing with them, you're trying to persuade them with your point of view based on facts, data, whatever it is, into something else. And people that are smart will go, oh, I see. I did not know that. I was unaware of such things. And if you're trying to persuade them, they may go, I see it now. I see it. And a lot of times we don't have all the information. We have portions of the information that come in. We got I got 78% of the data. I don't have 100% of the data. And over here, this person's go, well, I got 77% of the data, but I don't have this. And sometimes, but a lot of times it's totally different. What happens is you have people who have the data, and then you have other people who have the data that they want to hear or that somebody's fed them. And they believe it, they buy into it, and they will not change their mind. So when you're trying to argue with somebody who's stupid, if you will, for lack of a better term, what ends up happening is you just get frustrated and nothing else changes.
Today, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory on the dangers of health misinformation. Surgeon General advisories are reserved for urgent public health threats. And while those threats have often been related to what we eat, drink, and smoke, today we live in a world where misinformation poses an imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health.
Yeah, misinformation is, again, disinformation, misinformation are separate things. That's our Surgeon General Murty right there. So talking about misinformation and disinformation, it's everywhere. And it's not just coronavirus. I mean, you name it in today's world. There's misinformation and disinformation on just about everything. And most of the time, it is based on, well, politics. There's always something there. Somebody's trying to do something. And there's something behind it. Not everybody's bad. Not everybody's doing it on purpose. Some people think they're doing it for the right reasons, but not everybody's above board.
Much of the misinformation that is circulating online is often coming from individuals who don't have bad intentions, but who are unintentionally sharing information that they think might be helpful. And that's why in this advisory, among the things we're asking individuals to do is to pause before they share, to check sources, and if they're not sure if a source is credible, to not share. When it comes to misinformation, not sharing is caring, unlike what many of our moms taught us earlier in life.
But people want to share, and that's fine. It's just, I ask people, have you done the homework? No. But it doesn't really matter anymore. Like whether or not you do, because the only homework that people do to look and see if something they think is real is the one that will support the argument they have. And we saw it with the election, right? So you've got the audit still going on. Yesterday, they had a hearing here about the audit. So they have this hearing here about the audit that's still going on, by the way. They're still going on. Karen Fann is the president of the Senate. She's a Republican. She's the one that's kind of spearheading this. She's the one who hired the cyber ninjas. And they are not quite done with it. And now they're saying, hold on here, the numbers don't match up.
They haven't released a number yet, if you will. However, we do know that those numbers do not match with Maricopa County at this point.
So, supposedly, there's 77,000 extra votes out there. Is there really 77,000? People won't wait to see if that's true. Within 5 minutes, it was tweeted, retweeted, put out. Former President Trump talking about everybody. Oh, and now what does it become? It becomes the truth. And if you believe certain things, no matter what happens, it's not going to change people's minds. It's not. And somebody said, I knew the Democrats were bad. I knew it. And I said, actually, these are Republicans. So what you're having is Republicans cheated. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. That's what it is. That's right now you have Republican on Republican crime here. Oh, they found 3,000 extra here and 5,000 there. And this is and all you need is a bit of information to make up your mind. But if you're looking for it, if you have that conscious bias, you're going there, you're looking for it, it's like people who want to be offended. If you're looking to be offended, you will find what you want. If you're looking for something that strengthens your argument, even if it's not based on truth, it's not hard to find. This is Stephen Ricker, who is the county recorder, who is a Republican, who, by the way, thinks this whole thing is baloney, but said,
I supported an audit. I'm pro-audit. I'm pro-review, but I'm not pro-cyber ninja.
Yeah. Also said this about the cyber ninja.
We stand by our count. If the cyber ninjas are as good at predicting their timeline for completing the count as they are at counting, then that doesn't bode well for their count.
Yeah, because they went on for way longer than they thought they were going to go on. It's also costing just a bunch of crazy, amount of tax dollars for people because they have to get new machines. And it's frustrating. But it's all based on what? Some people call it the big lie. No, I think there were questions. And I've always said, I've got no problems with an audit. I have no problems with a recount. I got none of those things that I've had a problem with. My problem is, like everything, when you hire a bunch of clowns to do work and you pay certain people that already buy into this, They're going to deliver exactly what you're looking for, which may be great for some of your constituents. But then what you're going to do now is they've already said, we'll see you guys in court because you're accusing us of something. You're accusing us of being cheaters. You're accusing us of doing things. And even though it's been untrue, it doesn't matter. Because these people over here believe. But the ballots don't match up.
They are hand counting. We were machine counting. There's also a number of other reasons why they might not have come to an accurate count. We produce more than just the tabulated ballots. We produce the test ballots. We produce duplicated ballots. We produce spoiled ballots. And I don't know if they understand that those things shouldn't have been in the final tabulation of the actual votes.
Yeah. So, like, you can have a ballot, and you're like, I can't find my ballot, and then you can go down and vote in person. Well, those are two ballots. Oh, yeah, that's right. So these are all the things. But people, guess what? People won't believe. Doesn't matter. Even if the cyber ninjas came back today and said, look, we looked everything up. We did everything. We ran everything through. There was some stuff we had questions with. But at the end of the day, it seems about right. Somebody's going to say, no, it's not right. It's a lie. And move on. Same thing with coronavirus. Same thing with it. This is where we're at. The funny thing is, yesterday we did that thing about trust. Like, Republicans trust the police far more than the Democrats. Democrats trust the, government and public school far more. The trust for religion, comparatively for Republicans, was like 30% higher than it was for the way that Democrats view it. The funny thing of all, though, is the trust for each other is not very good. And the trust for the truth, well, there's less of that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. The Black National Anthem is going to be played before every NFL game.
America was a country full of promise and hope for many. Black Americans faced a different reality, a nation separate and unequal. Yet their hope persisted, a hope for a brighter tomorrow, a timeless exhortation to lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing.
Yeah, Alicia Keys right there. So that is going to be sung before every NFL game. They're also going to have social justice sayings in the end zone or around the end zone. It goes back to the wokeness of how woke do you want your sports? Even if you are woke yourself, at some point, how woke do you want to have your sports? The NFL, I think, has been, obviously it started with Colin Kaepernick, who's doing his thing, and by the way, loving every second of it.
Colin Kaepernick polarized the nation when he went down on one knee during the Star-Spangled Banner before an exhibition game in 2016 to protest racial injustice and police treatment of black people. Now Kaepernick wants to make a difference with children with a series of books through the children's publisher, Scholastic. Kaepernick was adopted by a white family, and his picture book is based on a kindergarten memory when he used a yellow crayon to draw his family, then a brown one to draw himself. He says he hopes to encourage young people to live with authenticity and purpose. I Color Myself Different will come out in April.
He colors himself different, but the NFL started. Colin Kaepernick was one who started all of this and the conversation, and it did polarize us. We polarize each other. I mean, let's be real. It doesn't take a lot to polarize us. But you do ask the question, is this going to hurt the NFL? I don't know if it does or doesn't, comparatively the way that's hurt other sports. And some sports, I think it's overdone with. In some sports, I was talking to my uncle the other day, and we were talking about what took place in the world, in the European Cup this past weekend, when you had 3 black players miss penalties for England in the final against Italy. They've arrested people for racial abuse. They've arrested people for threats. They've arrested people for, all kinds of things because of this. And he's like, well, are those people trolling? I said, no, dude, this is out and out disgust and hate. This is out and out just vile. We are not that. Not saying that we can't be. but they're having issues like we don't even think about the kind of, we think we're bad because somebody said something horrible. Some of the stuff that they have over there is insane. But it does feel like, okay, we're doing this another woke thing, and this has hurt. How about we just have America the Beautiful? Because I also feel like the more that we do stuff like this, the more I feel like we're trying to separate everybody. How about we just do America the Beautiful? We get rid of the Star Spangled Banner, which is a hard song to sing. And we don't have, lift our voices. We should have America the Beautiful, and then we move on. Could we do that? We move on as one? Or does everybody want to have, are we going to have 14 anthems? We got a guy from Mexico. Everybody play that anthem. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Talk about Poopsie. Poopsie. If you don't know who Poopsie is, it's Shark Week. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
We have now exhausted every single idea we could possibly come up with. There's nothing left to do but jump the shark.
The boys from Jackass decided to try their hand at some shark stunts. They sent their friend Sean McInerney, aka Poopies, over an impossible jump with nothing but sharks swimming below.
Oh! Get it on! All right, get him up. Turn again!
Yeah, he got bit. Because as we always say here, stupid should hurt, and Jackass is about stupid. Poopsies is speaking out.
I'm a surfer, and they go, Poopies, you want to be like Fonzie and jump the sharks? I go, yeah! So they put the Fonzie jacket on me, and I go, hey! And then I think we went a little too slow. Launched like 4 to 5 feet into the shark pit. And when I landed in that shark pit, I thought I was going to die. There's like 10 sharks around me. I was trying to swim out, and I couldn't.
No, you couldn't because, you jumped into a shark pit with a leather jacket.
Scariest thing in my life. Couldn't really say much. I was in shock and got bit. And I kind of lifted it up. And right when I lifted it up, it freaking fell over. And that's when I knew I was in trouble. That I was probably going to die. But luckily I didn't. And then I start freaking out, dude. Unwrap this towel. And all of a sudden, everything starts squirting everywhere. Arteries everywhere.
You figured it was only a matter of time, but there was a guy bit a few years ago on Shark Week, and he got his calf bit by a bull shark, and you see the nibble the bull shark takes, and you're like, oh my God, it just rips his leg to shreds. It really didn't do a ton. I mean, he kind of shook it, but it wasn't like, oh.
I definitely got a degree in shark college there. I knew there was a chance I was going to get bit by a shark, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Are you mad at the shark?
No, I don't blame the sharks at all. I mean, I was in their living room, and it was dinner time.
Yeah. When you go into the water, and producer Phil, remind everybody what takes place if nature.
Nature will mess you up.
Mess you up. Case in point, yesterday, and remember, it's no longer a shark attack. It is a marine interaction, is what they're calling it. Yesterday, a man in Brazil had to relieve himself. He had to pee. Wandered in to take a pee at a beach in northwest Brazil at the Jabato dos Grapes Piadele Beach. And lo and behold, dead. Torn up. Bit him really bad. He ended up dying. Took out a huge portion of his leg. Nature will mess you up. That was a marine interaction. That's what they want to call it now. Kind of softens it, right? Because they're not really attacking you. They don't have hands. They have no hands. They only have mouths. They're just taking a nibble. Polar bears will attack you. Crocodiles will attack you. This was a bite from a marine animal that happened to be a shark. Happened to kill this person. Just pointing it out there. Have a good weekend. Got you through the week. We'll do it again next week. Don't let nature mess you up. As always, night-night, Jack.
This is The Chad Benson Show.